I think we touched earlier on my love and hate relationship with food and just the things I witnessed in the industry in last 10 years and how some models were willing to treat themselves and their own body in order to stay skinny. Now, how some models, including me,
Yeah.
let's not go around me, in order to stay skinny. And I I wanted to bring something that is healthy and that is I don't feel guilty.
Welcome to your podcast, Successful Quitters by Sara Nunez Bee. Would you rather
Ooh,
get the most expensive Birkin bag or a first class flight to Dubai with everything included for a week?
okay. I think that okay. Whew. Let's strategize. It's the most expensive Birkin is about 150 grand. I'm assuming on average.
Something
Okay.
around there.
Okay. I think never been to Dubai, but I think first class flight is about 20. I'm going with a Birkin bag, and it appreciates in that. So probably in like next 4 years, I'll flip it again for double the price.
Very
Okay. No.
strategic. All right. Would you confess your sins to a priest?
Absolutely.
Or wait. Or would you confess your sins to a priest or to a jail prisoner?
Ooh, I definitely to a priest.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely to a priest. I mean, okay, definitely to a priest, because that's a nice thing to do. I can have a confession. But if you were to confess your sins to a prisoner, I'm assuming he's going to make you feel a lot better about your sins. And I was like, that's nothing.
Right. Right, for sure. So chocolate or cotton candy?
Chocolate all the way.
Chocolate. Chocolate
Mm-hmm.
cake or cotton candy? So it would be chocolate cake.
Cotton candy.
Mmm.
Mm-hmm. I'm not the spongiest person. Sponge cake is not my thing.
All right. Well, welcome, guys, to another episode of Successful Quitters, a podcast that explores the different things individuals have had to quit in order to become successful in their arena or their personal life. And today we have someone I'm very excited to introduce to you guys. She is an international fashion model. She has appeared on recognized magazine covers. She is also an entrepreneur that has been featured in publications such as Forbes, International Business Times, Daily Front Row, and London Daily Post. She is the founder and CEO of Michaela V, a footwear line offering girls and women luxury comfort and affordability. Her shoes have been requested by countless celebrities such as Beyonce and Olivia Culpo, as well as featured in fashion editorials. Welcome, Michaela Vybohova.
Well, what a heartwarming introduction. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, Michaela. Thank you so much for being here with us. I'm super excited to learn more about you and help others see life through your eyes, through your point of view. Michaela, let's start from the beginning. Tell me about Michaela at 5 years old. Where did you grow up and what it was like for you back then?
So I was born and raised in Slovakia in a very small town. Um, I grew up in the mountains. I'm a nature girl. I was bouncing around. We had a lot of animals. We had a little chalet on the mountains with with a lot of land, and we've had anything from chickens to stray cats. So I grew up around animals, and that's my heart and soul. I miss it. I love
Mm.
it.
And do you have siblings?
I have two step siblings, but as
Okay.
for my mom, I'm the only one.
So growing up, you were on your own?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. But I had a lot of friends. I would be climbing trees, um, playing with the animals. We've had miniature horses, so that was so much fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's beautiful because you live in New York nowadays, right?
Too.
So what a crazy change from a childhood like that into coming to New York. And what was your dream? Do you remember what your dream was back then?
Absolutely, I'm living it.
I love it.
I think my dream back then, I really wanted to just get out of my small town. I think I had so much ambition, so many dreams. I never knew what manifestation was or this law of attraction where wherever it was like, I don't remember what was the book that everybody read like 10 years ago. But
The
it was,
secret?
yes, thank you. And
Yeah.
it was everywhere. Everyone was talking about it. And I lived it since I was like 5 or 6. I would create alternate reality, have what do you call it? Sorry, I'm not American, so I speak 99% fluent English.
It's okay.
When you had imaginary friends.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I've had alternate reality. And it's funny, I have played that I like, oh, I live in California and I have my
Wow.
own company and I'm a fashion designer. I would make outfits out of my grandma's scarves,
Oh,
all accessories, and yeah, I would have a runway show for nobody.
oh, that's amazing. Isn't it crazy how your thoughts can actually convert into things? I'm
Yes,
shocked by that concept, right?
yes, and I think it's only I think in the last year I've started um, watching myself about negative self-talk.
Hmm.
Because I think when we are young, like we're so fearless and we have such imagination and anything can happen and we are the best and we just live in a constant play world where nothing can ever go wrong. But I think as you grow up, maybe it's just me, that you become so much more fearful and don't want to take risks anymore. And you become so hard on yourself. So that's one of the things I mean, only in the last year, I started being more self aware of how I talk to myself and evaluating, okay, what do I really have to lose?
I think it's most of us that become more fearful because you know that sometimes things could go wrong. And it's the same thing with business. Sometimes you fail the first time and you don't take the risk a second time because you already know that there's a chance that you can fail. When you're
Mhm.
young, you don't know that you could fail so bad.
Oh,
So it's amazing how kids are so free and don't have any fear, any judgment on themselves. And was there anyone in particular, or how was it that fashion came into your life? As far as you were this young and living um, in a countryside, so why was it that fashion was a thing? Did you have a family member that was into it, or how was it that that came about?
I always thought of fashion. It was a way to express myself. It was a way to be creative for me, to be coming up with things I'm not necessarily good. I didn't consider myself an amazing dancer, a great painter, but fashion, it was just something for me. It was a way of expressing yourself without without speaking, and a way of letting other people know who you are
Hmm.
without ever saying a word. It was just on you. And that was the thing that fascinated me with it. And it was also watching my mom, because we didn't I stayed alone with my mom, and my mom had to have 3 different jobs, and she was working incredibly
Mm.
hard. Um, and she would always look like $1,000,000. It was her
Wow.
confidence, the way she put herself together, the way she carried herself. She would go into the thrift shops and secondhand stores. To this day, she loves them. But when my mom
Mm.
steps in a room, she is so elegant, confident, and she just always looks so expensive. And yeah, that was my
I
icon.
love that.
Wow. To this day, I'm still learning from her. She's my personal Marta Vintour.
Oh,
She's my
that's
personal Anna
amazing.
Wintour. Yeah, somebody she's my style icon.
Yeah. So she would be maybe your fashion hero.
Yeah. So my
Mm.
first shoe that I've ever designed and created, my first line, that's why they're called Marta. That's my mother's name.
Oh, very nice. I love it. I love how you can get inspired by people that you love, people that surround you. And it's so crazy how at that age we can have that kind of influence that will actually, transform our lives forever, because this is the result of um, that relationship with your mother. And how was high school for you? Did you
This
like school?
I did and I didn't. I did like learning about subjects that I was interested in. But I'm one of those, like, people call it's ADD or something. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the terms. I never finished reading it, so maybe I have it. I was great at the subjects that interested me. I never really had to study anything that had to do economy, law, business. I loved making those projects. I was excelling at them. I was a shark. But when it comes to subjects that I like couldn't care less for, like math itself, oh my God,
For
I could
science?
not. Yeah, like science, okay, like physics, boring. Chemistry, now that's cool.
Yeah.
I would be, if I'm interested in something, give my full attention, and I'll go overboard. I'll go 10 extra miles. If something is not for me, oh my God, I'll be thinking about anything and everything. There's like a la la land up here. And I couldn't get myself to do it. So my final exams would be like A plus, A plus, A plus, D, D minus, D minus. There was nothing in between.
That it's totally relatable. And the more people I meet, I was exactly the same way. And I think that what happens is that entrepreneurs are actually like that. A lot of people are like, okay, yeah, I excelled at every subject that I love, but everything else, it was like I was thinking about something else during class. So class ended, and it's like, okay, what happened here? And I used to go through that. I used to create things that I were, into, and kind of like move forward and advance in those subjects that I wanted to excel in. But that boring class, I was like, oh man, when does it end?
Yeah, I was
Or
like,
not even when does it end?
yeah, even my notes. So it was like, oh, okay, so now we have a math class. Like, what did I do in a math class? Oh, I drew a kitten in my notes.
Totally relatable. And how was fashion at that point? What did you have a lot of friends? Did you ever try to put anything together at that time or not just yet?
So in primary school, I did have 2 best friends. We did everything together, but I was by no way, shape, or form a cool kid. We're kind of the awkward bunch. And yeah, no, I was a little chubbier. I had braces. Um,
Oh.
and I was taller than everybody in the class. So boys would make fun of me and I would bully them
What's
back.
your height right now?
I'm 5'9.5". Yeah, I stopped growing
Nice.
about like 15, 16. But I
Nice.
showed up. um, yeah, so boys would bully me because I was bigger. I was the dyke of the class. And I guess I wasn't that confident in myself to be dressing or experiencing with fashion. And as I came to high school, my body changed a little bit. I stopped growing. My braces came off. So
Yeah.
I've had like now had more friends. God, kids are horrible. They'll only be friends with you if you're cute or super smart. And I wasn't either.
Yeah. They can definitely be a little bit cruel. Um,
So and in high school it got a little better for me. And yeah, after one of the first things, the reason why I laughed when you asked me, oh, how's high school for you? So this is one of my biggest insecurities couldn't that I couldn't own. I never finished high school. I started working.
mm,
One of the things that I quit.
yeah. Yeah. And I think, like I said, I think that when you have that spirit of an entrepreneur, sometimes you're misunderstood and not evaluated for your strengths, but you're judged for your weaknesses instead, you know? So, however, around that time, at 16 years old, that's when you started modeling, right?
Yeah,
So, how did that happen?
that happened. I was with my girlfriend at the time, and I've got myself a first part-time job at a mall. I was working as a security in a store, and I was folding T-shirts and watching if people steal. And obviously, while I was a security at one store, the theft rose through the through the sky
Oh my God.
while I was on the watch. Um, so that happened, and I got fired. And my best friend talked me into going into a modeling search that was happening one floor lower. And I was like, okay, well, I have no job. I have nothing better to do. And she dragged me in there, and that was the elite model search. And
Mm,
I went, and I ended up. I did not win I did not win that contest or search or whatever it was, but I did end up getting a modeling contract out of it, out of
mm,
out of a whole different company. So you see,
nice.
sometimes the way things happens, and you never know what leads you where and who you meet because you take this opportunity. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. And my girlfriend did not get anything out of it, and I lost a friend.
Oh, wow. I think it happens. I think it happens often where someone takes you for something and you're the one that ends up getting it, but shouldn't break friendships, but
I
it can
agree.
happen.
I'm sure she's doing incredible, and I will never forget her, because in a way, in a sense, I owe everything to her.
Yeah. And also to yourself because,
Yeah.
you know, you had to go through it to get it. And what are there any did you have to have any restrictions with diets, the way what is it to be a working model?
Wow, we're going deep, huh? You're pushing the pinpoint. Yes, I had to have a lot of restrictions. So back in the day, times have changed now. I do want to
Mhm.
clarify this. It is quite different now. But when I started, it's 10 years ago. I'm a veteran. Times are a lot different now. So I've been, throughout my contracts, like I have somewhere, if I really look for it, I've had a nutrition plan where like agent suggested that I keep a 500 calorie a day diet.
Wow.
And I also saw what girls did in order to stay skinny, and it wasn't the healthiest thing. And I think throughout the years, I developed a love in the sense, I was, I was afraid. I was afraid to maybe eat the chocolate but now a lot has changed. And I guess as I became a full adult, a full grown up, I just learned to love myself and love food and enjoy it and fuck everything
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's interesting to see how also, like you said, things have changed. And I'm assuming nowadays, it's a little bit different when it comes to that. What about styling your hair and all these kinds of things that you wanted to do, but you couldn't,
That I wanted to do
right?
styling hair. I mean, on photo shoots on jobs, I essentially roll out of bed and I show up how I woke up. There's a hairstylist
Yeah.
and makeup artist, so it's not my responsibility. But when you're mentioning hair and things like that, the hair, the lot of the side that people don't see what it's like to be a working model when you get your hair burned. Like when makeup artists we have to be in rush. And throughout one photo
Mhm.
shoot you change they might change your hair 5, 6 times. Then it's like they curl your hair. Okay, then you go back to straight. Okay, then you do curls on the bottom. Your hair gets damaged.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And what I was referring to is you have your pictures with this kind of look that if you change it, then you have to provide new pictures, right? But did you have a contract to not change your look,
Absolutely.
to not change
Oh,
your
no,
hair, to not change?
no, I cannot even have acrylic nails.
Yeah,
That's a big
yeah,
no-no.
yeah.
No, absolutely. But another flip side, sometimes, let's say, I have this look, but now, well, knock on wood, like now my work would slow down. Then my agents might come and was like, okay, we decided to make you more edgy. So you are gonna have a Halle Berry pixie cut and you're gonna be blown from now.
Yeah,
And that is in so many girls' careers. It's like, oh, so it's like, what now? It sounds silly. It sounds ridiculous to any normal person, but to like, I guess to us women, when you have I don't want to say no control over it. You can't say no, but then you lose an agency, and there it is.
right. And you could lose your entire career because
Yeah,
of one choice like that. That's crazy. Um, and when was it that you decided I'm gonna start over and move to the United States? It was about eight years ago, but what what why did you decide to come this way, and
I've decided
when?
when I was 6 years old, I've decided that I'm gonna move to America.
Wow.
It took me another 12 years to do that.
Yeah,
I'm a patient person. That's a lie. No, I'm absolutely not patient, but it did take me. I'm persistent.
nice.
Yeah.
And what stage in your life were you at when you said, "Okay, I'm moving to where did you move to first? You moved directly to New York?"
No, I moved to Florida. I
Mm.
decided because I was traveling all over the place. I was working in Europe, and I would be 3 days in Milan. Then I would do another week in Paris. Then I spent 2 months in Singapore. Then I go through, then I go through China. Then I go back to Prague, and then I would spend a week at
Mm.
home. And I lived this life for 2.5 years, and I've got so tired of it. I loved what I did. I had a blast. I had a blast being working with creatives, experiencing this life, but moving around and being on constant flights, never having essentially I didn't feel like I really have a home. Whenever I made a friend that I had a crush, it was like, okay, bye. So
Yeah.
what I desired most is to have a mailbox.
Mm.
It sounds silly, but I really wanted to receive mail.
Yeah.
I felt like, yeah, I want to have like stable friends, and I want to have like my favorite restaurant, and
A routine, right? A
want to have
routine, a
my,
normal routine.
yeah, I want to have a grocery store that I go to. It's like, this is nuts. So throughout my friends that I made all over Europe or Asia or whatnot, I've asked like, who do you know in the States that I can turn to? This is gonna be a
Mm.
process by the time I get my visa. It's gonna take time. I just whoever is a friend of friend that I can be safe. um, please connect me if I can crash there for a week. Amazing. And that's exactly what I did. And it's my journey started in Florida. I did
Wow.
about 6, 7 months in Florida, and it wasn't that easy. I'm making a long story very, very short.
Yeah.
I landed in Fort Lauderdale. I didn't know what Fort Lauderdale is. It took me 3 years to pronounce it alone. But
Yeah.
I was knocking. I went to Miami and I was knocking on doors of modeling agencies. They're like, "Hey, here's my portfolio. I'm here, and I'm living here now."
Yeah.
So that's what
And
happened.
I'm assuming you were thinking maybe it was gonna be just a little bit easier with the experience that you had. You thought, yeah, it's gonna be a lot easier. So, um, Michaela, what is your why? What keeps you going?
What is my why? Freedom.
Freedom. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
For me and my family, I think the most important thing we can have in life is our freedom. I think that's where you can have joy in life, where you don't have to stick to a job that doesn't fulfill you, or living not not being able to find and live out your true purpose. And I think waste my life is a thing that scares me most. I want to
Mm,
experience, and one of my biggest dreams is to give is to provide financial freedom to one of my employees and build together, and having the feeling, being able to give security to their family and pass it on. And
mm.
that is my why.
Very nice. I love the fact that there's grace, beauty, but also brains within Michaela because you have this brand, this shoe brand. By the way, it's not because you're here talking to me right now, but I looked at all the shoes that you have on the page and I would buy every single one of them. I'm actually going to purchase shoes from you because they're beautiful. They look classy, but they're so cool looking. You know, they're just different and very stylish. I really, really liked it. Um,
Sweet.
what? Yeah, no, definitely. What was the most challenging thing to get into the shoe industry? By the way, I want to make sure that people know that when you go to the website, the brand has sneakers, heels, boots, and sleepers. So you have plenty of options. Um, what was the hardest thing when it comes to the shoe industry?
Sizes.
Mm,
Compared to maybe ready to wear or accessories, I think is the sizes. um but to be honest, I everything every I feel like every industry that you go into and you're not familiar with is going to be incredibly hard. So if I decided to be a plumber tomorrow, oh my god, it would be
Right.
excruciatingly hard. So it's tough for me to say what was the hardest part. In the beginning,
why
everything,
why are why are sizes a challenge when it comes to shoes?
because it's so many of them.
Mm,
There's such a wide variety, and then every brand has this, the sizing is a little bit different. In some brands, I don't wear just my own shoes, but I just bought a pair of Tom Fords. Those were my last shoe that I purchased, and I ordered 8.5, which is my standard size in US in my own brand. It's too small in Tom Ford. So to figure
mm,
out like that balance, so
yeah.
where do what stands? Italians have different sizing. Uh, every brand is a little off, and in European I'm size 39, but in
Mm,
Tom Ford 8.5 translates to 38.5.
eight
That
and
was
a half.
just, and I didn't realize it. So the second thing that's very hard about it from purely the business perspective, the inventory and fulfillment center, the volume of the shoes. So fulfillment and storage warehouses cost a lot more for shoes
Mm,
than, let's say, ready to wear. That is one of the hardest parts when we're
yeah.
talking from the operational perspective.
Side of things. Also, I'm assuming that there are sizes that sell more than others, correct?
Correct.
So that should probably be another thing. And right now, where are you based out of for your business for the shoes? Where are these stored? What city?
In New York,
Okay. So you
in New
still
York,
have them
but
there.
we have fulfillment centers in Florida, and we
Mhm.
ship from there.
Very nice. And what would you, what are the things or the tips that you would give to people that would be interested in getting into the retail business?
God bless you. Of course, be with you. Welcome to the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, yeah.
To get into the retail business from, I guess it depends from which side because it's such a wide umbrella. So you can do the e-commerce, you can do the brick and mortar, you can be jewelry. So just it is the wild wild west, my friend.
And to do e-commerce, which would be your business would be considered e-commerce, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So in order to do what you're doing, what would you say? Because the reason why people nowadays understand the value of mentors is because mentors have already gone through the steps that you're barely going to go through and learned a lot of things that you don't know yet and that might make you fail. But if you have someone that's mentoring you, it might be an easier road, an easier path. So, are there any things that you would suggest for those people that are trying to do what you're doing?
I would say the first thing, evaluate what you're good at. Do you have like
Mm,
where is your within the space? Where is your obsession? Um, where can you in a retail space and the e-commerce world? It's like e-commerce world. If you're staying within a fashion space, there's not much new to invent. This space is extremely oversaturated. So figure out this most exact thing what you're best at. Okay, this is my
mm,
my obsession. One, figure out your staple piece. Like, okay, this is gonna be the staple of my brand. This is where I bring. This is gonna be my story. The second thing, huge important. Where do I source? What conditions do they have? Um, it is so important.
yeah, I love that you brought the word obsession because I think that that is something that you have to have in order for any business to actually thrive because you
Yeah.
go through so many ups and downs that you got to go Gotta be obsessed when you're up there, but you also gotta be obsessed when you're down there, right? In order to continue going. Have
I
there been times when you've been like, I'm so over this?
other people. I've been at times where other people told me that I should be. This is
Yeah.
enough. Was I ready to quit? Other people told me that I should have. I have this thing where I time myself for 15 minutes. I put a timer on and I go into my corner where I pity myself and feel like shit about it. Maybe I cry and I have a tantrum. And that is my time to pity myself. Oh, you poor baby. This is horrible. Look what happened to you. Oh. And the timer goes off. I'm like, okay, that's been good. You did
I
this
love
self.
it.
And yeah, and then I just go deep down in there. I cry. I'm being unreasonable. I do all of that. And in 15 minutes, it helps. My head is clear. And maybe, okay, if I don't feel ready to pick it up there and then, I make a schedule for the next day. Okay, these are my priorities for tomorrow. And then we go.
Hmm. I love it. I think that's such a healthy way to do things. I do that when it comes to emotional things, and I give it 24 hours. So, like, let's say it's a breakup. I'm like, I can cry, as if I'm gonna die for 24 hours. And then the minute it hits 24 hours and the minute it's over with. And you're not too, like, through it, but you got all the worst out of you and you're kind of like allowing yourself to feel. If you have a business, you're allowing yourself to be uncomfortable,
Yeah.
be fearful. I mean, have fear, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm back to my stronger
Oh,
self, and I gotta
man,
keep
girl,
going.
you move on faster than a FedEx overnight shipping. All right.
And so right now you're gonna move to Los Angeles, Michaela,
I am.
from New York.
This is yes.
Is there a specific reason for your business, or is it just because you personally like Los Angeles more?
Ha ha. I am in New York, I guess, and now I am. I wouldn't say if I like Los Angeles more or less than New York. The reason I like it because it reminds me of home. I'm a nature girl. I
Uh,
miss the space. I wouldn't say if I like one city other than another than the previous ones. For me, I am entering a new era in my life where I'm ready for calmness. And I thought to myself, I am entering this stage, the stage in Michaela's life where I am thinking about settling down, building a family life. And that will not be in New York for me personally.
mhm.
Not that I am moving to Los Angeles for anyone, no.
Yeah.
um, no, I just thought I was like, okay, if I imagine a family life for myself, where would I want it to be? And it would be California for me personally, and I
Mhm.
might be wrong. But I think when we want something to happen, we don't wait for the Mr. Perfect to come around. No, we just do it. Because I'm genuinely happy in California. I have a puppy. Um, I have a little condo, but it has a garden, it has a pool, it has a tennis court, and a balcony that I can have my friends over, and that is my chapter.
Well, we'll be very happy to have you here in Los Angeles. I
Be nice
love
to
it. I can't wait. And so, what is your dream? You've already accomplished a lot, but what is your dream right now?
my dream. I want to own a horse
Oh, that's
again.
beautiful. So, do you think at a certain point you're gonna wanna go a little on the outskirts of the big city and not stay in the big city?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am already a Palisades mom without a husband or a child.
Oh, I
We
I
will
think
settle
it's
some
very
sand
nice.
Sara too, it's okay. Just putting it out there.
Yeah. Nice. Very nice. And so now you're going to be here, and you tell us a little bit about how you got into this new business, right? You have a protein bar. You're everywhere. You're doing everything.
This is my heart and soul.
Oh,
So I think we touched earlier on my love and hate relationship with food and just the things I witnessed in the industry in last 10 years, and how some models were willing to treat themselves and their own body in order to stay skinny. Now, how some models, including me,
yeah.
let's not go around me, in order to stay skinny. And I I wanted to bring something that is healthy and that is I don't feel guilty eating. And when it comes to the whole wellness space, so many things that are full of junk are marketed as health food, and it drives me nuts when I see it. I come from athlete family. I know a lot about nutrition and what works for me and what doesn't. And so many things that are packed with sugar, butter, oils. They're so processed, and still there was like, oh, this is a health food. No, it's not. So I get so crazy once upon a time that I would read ingredients to every last thing, and I'm like, corn syrup, nope. This preservative, butter, nope. And that's where I started cooking for myself and baking for myself, because I have a sweet tooth as
Mm.
well. And I was coming up with recipes that I could have exactly what I want, but the way I want it, to satisfy myself. Now this is my first product that I am so proud of. I'll stand behind it 1,000 times. If you don't like it, let's talk. Come for me. What's wrong with it? I genuinely want to hear, because what I want to bring to women, and I think people in general, I want to end the crazy diet culture. It's
Mm.
insane what we are doing. I feel like this is like a 18-year-old girls in a model's apartment, I don't know, like barfing or chugging water or eating, I don't want to say paper, but eating like leaves without dressing.
Yeah.
Now I feel like there's a whole new thing with the Ozempics and all these things. Like, why? Why? The answer is right here. We can just eat healthier and work out. Like, that's not even work out, just eat healthier. And there's a way to do it. And I think we live in a epidemic of all these doctors and health gurus and all of this, and this is not healthy, and one contradicts another. I can't stand it.
Yeah. Did you how was it that you came to, I understand the reasoning behind it, but how was it that you came to this idea of specifically I want to, you know, have a protein bar?
So
Um
on my
mhm.
during fashion weeks, or I have so many castings, meetings, whatnot, fittings, and I'm running around. I rarely have time for full lunch, so I would always have a protein bar in my bag, and I would grab a smoothie and whatnot. My personal issue with protein bars that are in a market, they're all dessert flavored, and that's something I don't like. I don't want to feel like I'm eating a health food that's supposed to be good for me, but it's flavored as a birthday cake or a chocolate chip cookie. It just doesn't add up in my brain, where it's like, ooh, caramel swirl, and that's a protein bar. It just doesn't compute with me that I'm supposed to be eating healthy. Um, And I looked at some ingredients, a lot of them didn't work for me. So this is where I came in, and every single day, I kid you not, in my bag, I carry a bar of Model Munch.
Oh, what is the name of the protein bar?
It's Model Munch.
Maro Manch. I love the name. And I think it's so powerful to be able to open a business, but open a business that has a meaningful reason to you, the CEO, the person that thought of it and opened it, because that's what makes you continue to push. Because, like you said, you've been through so many times when you needed to eat something in the middle of, an audition or whatever, and all you had was your protein bar in your bag. And I think all of us need a protein bar in our bags.
Yes, you do.
So that so let's keep that in mind, guys. And
We're also,
so uh-huh.
sorry to jump in. As of last week, we're available on Amazon. I am so,
Oh,
yeah.
hey. So
And
is that one
as of
is
next
that
week, hopefully in Walmart.
Oh, I love it. And tell us about the flavor. So it's a natural flavor. What does
Mm-hmm.
it taste like? Is there just one flavor? Tell us more about it so that
We're,
these
we
people, since they're gonna see it everywhere, so that they get it.
we are very, very new, and this is my first. I'm chugging on water. Whew. So this is my first flavor, and it's strawberry coconut.
Oh, nice. So the one that you're gonna be promoting everywhere is just gonna be for now, as of now, the strawberry coconut.
Yes,
How long did it take you to go from I want to get a protein bar made to now?
3 years.
Oh wow. It was a little bit of a process, huh?
A little bit of a process from the day I came up with a name to register the company to until my production arrived. I would say 3.5, almost 4 years. And it's not just
It,
that, because whereas I've had my, let's say, recipes formulated, then to talk to manufacturers and co-packers, you're a new company, forget it. You're negotiating minimum order quantities, and there's so much I had to learn. Um,
yeah.
I've had my recipe, I knew how to make it, and I loved my own product. But now there is this license, now to make it commercially friendly, now to deal with FDA, waiting for the approval. So it's definitely not an overnight thing. Yeah, it's been my passion project. It's something I love and I genuinely want to share with the world, because it breaks my heart when I see young, beautiful girls shooting themselves with diabetic drug. Like, guys, like, this is insane. Like, can we make it stop?
Yeah, that's a thing right now.
Oh
That's
my
a thing right
God.
now. And you know what? I have a friend that did it
Oh,
for a
I've seen
while,
you do it.
but she did the period. I don't know how long she did it. I think it was like a month. But what happened was she's in really good shape, but I started going to the gym with her, and the more she progressed with the shooting, the less strength she had. And so, like, she would get headaches and she couldn't really perform at the gym. So, yes, it makes you lose the weight right away, but is it really something that's worth it? Because it's going to get you in really bad shape for the future. Also, this is medicine that they're using for people that actually need the medicine.
Yeah.
People that need the medicine are unable to find it because women are just trying to lose the weight and shooting it.
It
So,
is, it is nuts. And but there's so many other things like this.
yeah,
It genuinely does break my heart.
yeah, yeah. It's great that you're bringing something to the market that can be more natural, and also it's a problem solver because you can always carry this whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, anytime.
Yeah,
What would
things.
you say? since we're talking about this and how us women might struggle sometimes. We look at ourselves in the mirror and sometimes we want to lose a few pounds, sometimes gain, whatever. But women that have been in your situation, but you started modeling since you were really young, but maybe there are girls that are in their 18, 19 years old that are trying to become models, um, and they're not making it just yet. Is there an advice that you would give them to women that might be discouraged, but that's their passion, that's their dream? And since you've already been active in this business, is there anything that you could give them as a suggestion?
I would just say stay strong, because with this specific industry, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you have a product, people, like, let's say negative comments about a product. Oh yeah, I don't like it, it's not for me, it's too short, it's don't like the just don't like it, I think this is shit. Imagine now that you are your own product and you are in a room, so let's say you're in auditions, castings, and people talk about you like you're not even there. That can be excruciating. Like, imagine that I was like, you're standing in a room full of like 15, 16 people, and I'm like, yeah, like, no, the hips are too big, the ass is kind of flat. These are things that I personally heard. Not
Wow.
so it hits different, but just to be prepared for it. And I know it sounds easy to say, but do not take it personal. You are your own person. We are all beautiful and individual in our own ways. And to this day, I struggle with insecurities. Oh my God. Like, for example, today I was shooting a Wolford commercial and lookbook. Wolford, the lingerie, pantyhose, and yeah, no, I'm in lingerie, and like there's 6 cameras around me, and I'm in twisting on a little platform, and all I see is like, God, I hate my thighs. I'm like, eh. I like, this is what goes in my head. So it's 10 years later. It still happens. It still happens. But I think the most important thing, if you're trying to be a model, get out of your head. Just breathe. Just remember that you love yourself. People love you. This is a cruel world. But just as cruel, it's also just as beautiful. And the industry can be incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's
It's
worth
your
it
passion.
if you stay strong.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is hard to detach yourself from the persona that would be the model. I guess that would be a good way to kind of like see it or share it, where this is you with your personal life, and then there's a persona, which is the model that actually hears the criticism and all that good stuff, but you have to detach your feelings and yourself from that persona, which is the model, which is the one that hears all the criticism. It's crazy. And what are the things? I know, I know. What are the things that you had to quit to become who you are today?
School. Um, Bad relationships, unhealthy lifestyle. Let me tell you, I was a party girl years ago, and did have to have a hard look at myself. Had to quit my ideas and businesses that had a dead end. I have a new idea every week, believe me. But I did have to evaluate the ones that have a future, have scale, and the ones that I most believe in and have a purpose. So I quit a lot of my ideas. I quit relationships that I didn't have a future in my eyes at the time. There's so many things. And
Yeah.
some of those I regret, and I won't tell you which ones.
Those are the ones that you would confess.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, the ones that to the felon. I'm kidding.
that's why the two choices completely opposite. Is there a person that supports you the most in life? Who would that be if there is?
My mom.
Oh,
My
so I
mom.
bet she loves that you're doing this. And is she in New York with you?
No, she's still in Slovakia. And my mom, she's the most incredible woman I have ever met in my entire life. And she taught me so many things. And when other people or family members were telling us that, oh, modeling, like, that's so hard, like one in a million ever makes it. And my mom would say, I I gave she would tell me this exact thing. I gave you a life that is not for me to live it. I can give you advice, and I can give you advice, my opinion, but the decision will always be yours.
That's beautiful. It's nice to have that support because when someone that's close to you is supporting you, you feel like you are superwoman. When they have you had that where sometimes your mom would say maybe you can do it, and then you're like you feel like superwoman because someone believes in you. Is that has that been your experience?
Yeah, it has. Also, there has been very similar, but had the opposite
Oh,
reaction to me. My parents used to tell me, "Oh, I'm not worried about you. You'll figure it out." Oh my gosh, I hated that so much to this day when somebody tells me, "Oh, I'm not worried about you." Like, I'm worried about me.
yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
it forced me to figure it out. Well, nobody else is worried. Okay.
I gotta survive somehow. Well,
Yeah.
I really look forward to tasting that protein bar. Believe me, that's gonna be a thing. And I have had such a great time getting to know you better, getting to know a little bit more about your story. And I thank you so much for taking the time to spend it with us.
Thank you so much. It has been such a pleasure. And I can't wait to hear listeners' feedback, and thank you. It means a lot that you had me on.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you guys.
Definitely. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this episode.